Hello and welcome back to College Disc Golf News with me, your host, Nick Inns, breaking down another weekend in college disc golf. There's a lot going on. I was super busy, so I am super excited to break everything down. So we're going to get into it, try and get everything into a nice one neat package for you guys to consume. And then I'll be coming out with predictions this afternoon. I'm sorry it's taking this long. I've been in Salt Lake City for the past week, and it's been a super fun time. Had a great time out there. But, I just wasn't able to bring anything with me to record and talk about things, so I'm excited to do that now and just get you guys the info and the scoop and my thoughts on this weekend. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So something that I did not know was going down, but actually is a super cool tradition, is the Georgia Tech Georgia Grudge Match, and so I'm covering that right now. It's at a private course in Georgia. I think one of the Georgia Tech players' dad is actually one of the owners of the property, and so they have a really cool time there. It's a long and technical course from what I've heard. I don't know much other than that, but as you can tell, man, this was a good time for Georgia. Georgia able to take it down in singles already. Cade Costanza was 8 over, then Connor Lutz 10 over, Will Mason 12 over, and then 13 over for Micah Jones, and then all of the other Georgia Tech guys were all well behind, from 15 down all the way to 24 down. And so already heading into singles, they had a pretty sizable lead. I think it was 8 strokes heading into singles for the D1 side of things. Over on D2, Georgia only had 3 guys. I think their fourth came late. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but ended up that didn't really matter. Anyway, Georgia, Eli Keith leading the way at even, which was 10 strokes clear of the nearest guy. Another Eli Akins, and then Drake Adeo at 11 over. Then you had the rest of the Georgia Tech guys at 17, 20, 22, and 23. And so, kind of similar to where it was with Redeemers regional win, Georgia kind of just carried that on the backs of their singles rounds and was able to take it down pretty solidly. And the good old fashioned hate rivalry. I mean, just a great name for a rivalry. I'm pretty sure that comes from football. But yeah, Georgia 11 over on their D1 team, 5 over on their D2. And they won by 9 strokes in D1 over Georgia Tech, and they won by I think just over 18 strokes. So a whole course worth of strokes won by the Georgia B team. A little shorthanded, but congrats to Georgia. They're a solid team. I'd love to see them out there more, but there's just not a lot of events for them. They're kind of in a weird spot in the southeast where it's more Carolina focused, where they are, and Athens. It's just a little remote, and so there's not a lot of like Alabama teams that are doing too much. Mississippi State may do something every once in a while. And in terms of programs, it's kind of just them and then Georgia Tech. It's not like Georgia Southern has a team or Georgia State. You got Toccoa Falls and Covenant up in the north, but I mean, there's really not a lot. So it's kind of like it kind of stinks that they're not able to play more. But hopefully that'll change in the future, and I'm looking forward to seeing more from them and that program. They've got a great thing going over there. Over in the Southwest, we had the first rated event of the year. They did have a 4-team event a few weeks ago, but it was on UDisc, so it wasn't rated. So unfortunately, that isn't like just a little tidbit for rankings. That actually isn't used in rankings. If you use UDisc, it does make it more affordable, but the without ratings, college disc golf does not like to rank things since they don't know for sure. PDGA is a good baseline for that. It's not perfect, of course. But because of that, this is the first rated event that we're getting to see, and Henry Mayos did a great job over at Spar. Ended up taking it down by 3 strokes over a host of Grand Canyon and Arizona State guys. There was Northern Arizona here. You're not going to see them until the end, but they were not up there. I'd put all of them together. Northern Arizona just played D2, but with like 6 teams. I personally put it all together because it just makes more sense in my brain, so I can kind of compare, contrast. Um, And it just helps give a better picture for what's going on. But just where I don't have D2, David Austin for the singles round one in D2, just to kind of give you guys some info there. But let's not take away from Henry Mayo's victory. 11 down, 1005 rated. Got an eagle on 16. Just played super solid over well, super clean. And that was enough to take it down. I mean, 3 strokes over the next closest person. But as you can tell, Arizona State all in that top six. And Grand Canyon had a guy in Jonah Hansen for their D1 side. He was 2 over, and so it became. I mean, this is going to be birdie or die with some of these guys out there. So Arizona State took it handily down over there. Now on D2, Grand Canyon and Arizona State were ahead of Northern Arizona, but Northern Arizona had an insane teams rounds. Go ahead and pull up those scores here right now. Man, ended up taking third overall and winning the division. So congrats to them filling out that podium, coming back all the way on Arizona State. Grand Canyon just was not able to really compete there. I think they had a poor singles round for one of their guys, and that's always going to weigh you down. Difficult when that happens, but congrats to Arizona State, their first quote unquote official second win, their first win of the year, and then their second podium of the year. They got second place to Northern Arizona A team. So interesting things going down in the Southwest, and I'm excited to see more out of these guys when it comes back up in the spring. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into the course you're seeing on screen, and the big premier Carolina Conference event that I love seeing, the Mountaineer Mash at Ashe County Park in Jefferson, North Carolina. Boone land host to some really, really solid teams. UNC did not have their full squad there. Anthony Anselmo and Jasper Till were missing, so it was kind of half A, half B team playing for this weekend. You also had Winthrop University there for the first time. So it was cool to see them, led by Kyle Kreikhaus, who is a 1,000 rated player, so he's really great. So it was exciting to see that all go down. In the first round, we had teams, and UNC and NC State were neck and neck, jumping out early, 11 down round with a bogey for UNC. So they could have been Charlotte. They could have been up by 1 stroke over NC State. Ended up not doing so hot. NC State was on fire on the front nine, only missed one, which was 9. Cooled off on the back nine, though. They only got 3 birdies after that, and parred out from 14 to 18, which is a difficult stretch. But you expect a team like that, especially having such a hot front nine. They could have gone way down. Both teams just missing those opportunities to really take advantage of that, and so they were both tied at 11 down, heading into singles. West Carolina started off well with a 10 down of their own. UNC's A team was 9 down, and App State in 5th with 7 down. ECU, man, I had them third, but they came out flat. You can't really score well with 4 bogeys on a team's round. That is just really difficult. Now, the thing is that, this is the first time probably playing the course for these guys over in Eastern Carolina. But with the talent they guys have on this team, I know it's Woods, and the Woods is difficult, but these guys should be really, really being able to score on this course. But it didn't really take too long after this to decide what was going down in D1. You're looking already on screen. You are seeing a host of Wolfpack in singles, man. They dominated in singles. Now, Kyle Kreikhaus, as I mentioned earlier, he was able to take this down, 10 down, an impressive round for him. That is, man, one of the best rounds of the year, a 1043 rated, and he had 3 bogeys. He could have gone 1070 rated if he kept it clean, but still, he went 1 through 5, birding out, 7 through 12, 2 double turkeys. Impressive stuff from him. But again, Paul Seidel, Alex Erden, both on NC State's A team, they only had 1 bogey and had a 1026 rated round. So really impressive stuff from them. Then you had Zach Rice from WCU. He had a 5 down, and a couple of Charlotte guys up there, Cooper Ada and Benjamin Bergamy, both at 4 down. Very solid rounds for them. Both of them shooting above their rating. uh, which a stroke above for Liam, and sorry, a stroke above for 4 strokes above for Cooper, and 4 strokes above for Benjamin. So they played really well, but unfortunately for them, weren't able to really capitalize that on that. Peter only got even, and then their other guy on the team, Owen Rice, who I expect a lot of, shot 941, and that's rough for him. He's usually the guy leading the charge, really shooting well, and this was just a tough weekend. Sometimes you get in the woods and it doesn't work out so well. So all of NC State's A team was in the top 10. They averaged 6 down for that round. UNC Charlotte only 1 down, so it was a 5-stroke lead heading into round 3. And Western Carolina was pretty solidly in third, even. They were 5 strokes above UNC, who shot 4 over. App State shot 3 over. And so it looked like, first and second were pretty locked up. And it was going to be down to who was going to be able to really make a push for maybe third. Maybe fourth or fifth was probably a better option. But man, there was a lot of movement going down at the bottom. So NC State ends up winning. But App State comes out of nowhere to third. Western Carolina had a stinker of a round, only shooting 3 down, and App State came out there absolutely on fire. 10 down was the third highest for the weekend, and man, they played so stellar. Congrats to them taking down a podium position when I kind of had them out of it. And to be fair, they were out of it. If Western Carolina plays anywhere near where they're level and they're capable of, they would have beaten App State. But that's not what happened. And I can't talk about what didn't happen. I can only talk about what did happen. And what happened is that Ari Condor, Logan Majors, Tyson Alba, and Brandon Glasky played out of their dang minds and absolutely destroyed this course, ripped it to shreds, played so clean, no bogeys, and you know what? Congrats to them. Hats off to App State. Go Mountaineers, man. That's huge for them. Western Carolina getting fourth. Looks like they're hard stuck fourth at the moment. That's a joke if you've seen on Instagram and any of my comments with them. They're hilarious. North Carolina came in fifth at 9 down. Then NC State's B team, Winthrop 6 down, beating Eastern Carolina. East Carolina, man, just had a not great round. Looks like they're getting used to the mountains. Maybe they're more used to that kind of Piedmont, more that Carolina style woods golf. This is really hilly golf, and you can get in a lot of trouble. But I'm expecting a bounce back from them. This is probably an odd tournament for them. I'm going to quickly talk about D2 at Mountaineer Mash. Josiah Critcher and Connor Kells were your top players there for singles. Josiah took it down at 4 down. Impressive stuff from him. They were in D2, App State B and NC State C were tied. And so UNC just really kind of fell off. Connor was kind of leading the way, but not too much other than that. River Robertson played stellar this weekend from what I heard. 128 points above his rating. I've seen this guy play. I love River. Shout out River. He plays so well. He is not an 820 rated player. He for some reason his rating is that low. That is so deceiving. Do not ever take that as his rating. This guy is way better than that, and it showed this weekend. Congrats to him. Then you had Elijah Melcher from NC State in 4th, Logan Williams in 5th, tied with Zane Stowe. So a lot of App State and NC State guys kind of in this mix, and that's what showed after round 2. NC State was 2 strokes ahead App State was 2 strokes ahead of NC State heading into the final round. NC State B and UNCB were kind of just out of the mix. They could only battle out for third. And man, it was a nail biter all the way till the end. So App State had that 2-stroke lead going into the final round, and they were built it to 3 heading to 6. They were pretty much touch and go, copying each other. Hole 6 comes on. App State gets the birdie. But 7 through 9, NC State gets a turkey, brings it to even. So it's anybody's game. At this point, they're only 1 stroke away from getting back into the mix. Then App State responds with a birdie on 10. Then NC State gets a birdie on 12. It's just back and forth and back and forth. But it came down to the last 3 holes, 16, 17, 18. App State goes 2 down, through 18. NC State only gets a birdie on 18, and that is it. Your champions for D2, or technically D3, but really D2. It is App State, able to take down 2 podiums, 1 win, of course. Impressive stuff for them, but still, don't count out NC State. They're always really solid. Their C team ends up taking second by 1. In fact, I actually predicted this right on the money. It's not to pat myself on the back, but you don't want to talk about. We don't want to really talk about my other predictions this weekend, which we'll get to. Um, but I predict this one right on the money, so I'll give myself a cookie for this one. NC State's D team got third with an even. Charlotte, man, I thought they would get third, but I think they were missing a few guys. Not that any of the guys are not solid. It's just the team is different than what I thought it would be. So they ended up coming in fourth with 8 over, and then App State's C team at 15 over. All right, last thing to talk about. We've got the TWU Spartan Can-Am Regional over at Raptors Knoll in British Columbia. Very excited to talk about this. If you are, I'm sure all of the Oregon State guys have been waiting for this moment for a little bit. Sorry you had to wait so long for me to say that I was wrong, but just go ahead and give you guys a spoiler. It's been a little bit. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the TW Spartan Can-Am Regional, man. It was a battle the entire time. Super close, very fun to follow if you weren't watching. The issue is that if you were watching, you could only find this in person. Unfortunately, for some reason uh, PDGA live scoring didn't work. I couldn't find why they were just putting it in afterwards. I don't know necessarily uh, why that is. If someone from the regional could let me know, that would be great because I was trying to follow along and it would have been super fun too for both singles and teams. But unfortunately, I could only watch the singles portion of things while this weekend. Now, the good news is that the whole scores are entered in for the other round, so I can kind of get a better look of what exactly went down, why it happened the way it did, and just kind of break that down for you, which is good. I would have been very upset if that did not happen, but sometimes I don't know. PDGA, whatever it may be, the signal out there may not be good. I don't know. I don't know for sure, and that is that is the way that it is sometimes. I can't. This is a relatively new sport in terms of how old it is, especially for college disc golf, and so not everything's going to be instantly available like it is on ESPN, and I perfectly understand that. It just sucks because I love covering it and I love looking at all the things that go on this weekend. So let's go ahead and break down D1. So in singles, it showed how close everything was going to go be this weekend. Man, Ian Nickerson, actually, who is the kind of the leading guy for Oregon State, he takes it down. He had a couple of bogeys on the round, shot 985, which is 20 points above his rating, but played super solid. Ends up taking the win over 2 of the Western Washington Vikings and Charlie Couch, who's their leading guy. He shot 977, and then you had Peter Fournier as well, who played really solid, also shooting above his rating. Then in fourth, tied for fourth, you had Cole Belden, and then you had the first Trinity Western Spartan, Jacob Visser. Now, this is where I really thought that Trinity Western was going to build a lead, and they needed to build a lead in singles. They know this course. Not that Oregon State hasn't played this course before, but they should. This is their home course. They should be playing at a higher level than this. And Jacob Visser shoots below his rating at 3 down. Owen Field shoots at his rating. This is, I just talked about River Robertson. He shot 128 points above his rating. That's what something, obviously he's 820, but you can shoot probably, I mean, this is my theory. You should shoot better at a place that and you practice at a lot. Now, there's also the argument that there's pressure when you play there. You have this score in your mind that you should be able to hit. I think that is very fair, and I understand that. But I really do think that at the end of the day, that you're playing disc golf at a very high level. These guys are pretty good athletes. They should be able to play at a level where if you're playing at home, you should perform at a higher level. in my opinion. It happens in football all the time, happens in basketball. I think the same is happens in disc golf. You should be able to play at that level and ends up averaging out. Everybody averages out even after singles, which really great. Some good content there in terms of the emotions and the things going into this weekend. I mean, the teams round are going to be pretty close. Usually people stay pretty far together. And so the fact that we're at even heading into the second round is huge. And they wasted no time continuing that closeness. Now, Trinity Western started off this round hot. They took 4 birdies while the other guys took 3. But man, Oregon State on this back nine, man, they were so good. They only missed 10 and they went birdie out from 11. That is humongous. While they didn't, the other two teams played better on that front nine. Nobody was better as Oregon State on the back nine in terms of this weekend. And I think that is about the same for singles as well. Overall, these guys played super solid on the back nine. Other than Noah, sorry Noah, you're a little wishy-washy. 5 bogeys and 4 birdies. What is this scorecard? Now that I'm looking at it, Noah, what is this scorecard, man? 3 pars? Dude, what are you doing? Anyway, sorry. Shout out Noah. I'm just looking at the scorecard right now. I did not see that when I was making this. It's my live reaction to the scorecard. There's a lot of some bogeys, but 3 pars, man, that's crazy. But obviously that didn't show up on the back nine. He's able to get it together, and a lot of these Oregon State guys are playing super solid on this course. Trinity Western and Western Washington tied at 12 down, so they were chasing heading into this final round. They needed to get back into it. They needed to climb that mountain. They needed to start off hot. And Oregon State, man, they just closed the door early on this thing. They were not going to let anybody back into this race. They let them know early on this Raptor Nose gold course that it was pretty much theirs to take, and they end up going back to back to back to back birdies to start it out. I mean, that is so impressive. Going 4 down, building that lead by 4 strokes, trying to basically catch up. They're playing catch up on a gold layout. This course is difficult, 8,200 feet. And while there was a 2-stroke swing on 7 for Western Washington and a stroke swing for Trinity Black, they matched with going 2 down. That was just a lot to overcome. Now, they weren't able to get it back. 9, 10, and 11. It was a little bit cold for Oregon State. They had built up that lead, and that lead kind of shrank away. They were tied at 10. And it wasn't enough. Trinity Western ends up going dry from 11 to 17. They go 1 over 11 through 17. They picked up an 18 to balance out that bogey on 17, but they only went 1 down on the back nine. Meanwhile, while Western Washington didn't have the bogeys, they did not have the birdies that Trinity was getting. They only get 3 down on the back nine, or 4 down on the back nine. And 2 down on with Oregon State was just enough to keep clear of them. They all shoot 6 down for the round. 6 down for Oregon State. Western Washington 6 down. Trinity Western shot 5 down with that bogey. And Oregon State ends up taking it. 5th win in a row for them over and the West Coast. Congrats to them. They are playing so solid even from last year. They are a team to look out for. I know maybe the regional for nationals was not something to take into account. They have not necessarily played at the highest level there, but if they can continue that, maybe that's just an oddity. Maybe that's just something they're coming all the way from the West Coast. They didn't necessarily have all the practice on that course. Maybe that's something to look out for. Maybe that was just a fluky result, and these guys are getting back to winning ways. So definitely keep out for that. Shout out Oregon State, played super well this weekend. Congrats to them. Over on the D2 side of things, it was Oregon State versus Trinity Western. Oregon State had 2 teams there versus Trinity Western's 1. And heading into round 1, after singles, it was going to be a battle through and through the whole way. But man, they kind of built this lead up after singles in round 1 for Trinity Western. Now you look on top and you say, oh, Ethan Bentley. He's an Oregon State guy. Well, I don't have the teams up there. And Ethan Bentley, while playing really well, he's on their C team. And so that didn't count for them at all, unfortunately. Zach Ruptash played really well. 960 rated for him, 968 for Ethan Bentley. They played very solid. Brendan West played super solid from Juneau, Alaska. Man, he could have had the win, but unfortunately takes a pretty nasty set of bogeys from 15 all the way back to 1. He went, what is that, 5 over through that section? Yeesh. Really, really unfortunate for him. Brendan could have taken that down. But the most solid was TW. They ended up for the round averaging 2 over. Oregon State was 6 over. And then you got the teams, and Trinity Western continued to build the lead. They had really solid 7 down for that round over Oregon State, who only had 6 down, so they built another stroke lead. Oregon State C team was pretty much bogey, birdie or die. Ethan Bentley was trying to lead that team. Had so many birdies, but also a lot of bogeys, depending on their one player. It sucks. Usually that wouldn't happen, but when you only got one guy, that's the way it be sometimes. And then it was a similar story for Can-Am West Gold. Trinity Western Blue shot 7 down, and Oregon State only shot 6 down again, and that was all she wrote. Trinity Western takes down that D2 spot. Unfortunate for them on the D1 side of things that they couldn't pull it out. Overall, I think it's still an impressive win, even with the lack of teams there. Still nothing to scoff at. Those guys are playing super solid over there in Canada in the Northwest. So shout out to them. Shout out to Oregon State. They played super well as well. They got a good team. They got a good flow going over there. I'm excited to hopefully see them in, probably get a D2 bid. I'm sure they'll be traveling down the West Coast. These guys travel, and they travel well. So look out for them. Excited to see them here in the future. They're probably a favorite to get this D2 bid at the West Coast regional, so look out for them here in the future. So yeah, I predicted Oregon State third. They won. I'll take my medicine. Did some funny things on Instagram, trying to make up for it, making some memes. Look, if I cared about predictions and as they were in terms of like predictions are my whole life and I need to be right. That's kind of silly. It's less about like me being right and more just kind of like one getting to the community and two just like trying to get interest and gain interest in it. I do try to make them in terms of like actually being solid. I think the stroke differences were actually absolutely on. It was just the order I got wrong, and so yeah, I should have known. Oregon State has been so solid out in the West Coast. They haven't lost yet. They've won their last 5, so I will keep that in mind for next time. So just know that unfortunately you win some, you lose some. I got some right this weekend. I got some very wrong. But I hope you guys don't like me for my being right on predictions, but you like the content. You like what I'm putting out. I'm just talking about college disc golf. Make sure y'all leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what to do in the future. And hopefully this afternoon I should have some stuff coming out for predictions. So yeah, shout out to everybody playing this upcoming weekend. And I will see you guys in the next video, which should hopefully be here soon. Peace.